Hi everybody, and welcome back to the 2008 vintage of Cabernet Family Wines. It's been about 6 months since we last checked in, and just to remind you where we left off, basically we were wrapping up the harvest activities, so the fermentation from the tank was being moved into barrels, so we drained and pressed, filled the barrels, and at that point we picked up on the next stage of the wine's life, which was malolactic fermentation. Now, malolactic fermentation is a fermentation that's carried out by bacteria. The primary fermentation, which is converting sugar into alcohol, is performed by another microorganism, yeast. This one, like I said, it's bacteria, and what we're doing is we're transforming one type of acid, malic acid, to another type of acid called lactic acid. So these two acids, even though they're both acid, they have a different effect on the way that the wine is going to feel in your mouth. So converting it from one acid to another, we pick up a little bit more density and viscosity in the mouth. And also we lose some of the sharpness that maybe the malic acid will contribute to the wine. So this malolactic fermentation is occurring in the barrels, and during this period we're also starting to assess the wine for what the characteristics of that particular wood is on the wine that we're using. And that's very important because we always want to improve what we're doing, and if we feel that the barrels are not giving us what we want, this is the perfect opportunity to begin to do so. Barrels contribute flavor during all the time frame that the wine is in the barrel. So from the very beginning up until the 18-month time period that it's in there, the rate at which the barrel is being extracted into the wine is much different depending on who produced the barrel. So let's go ahead and have a look at what it is I'm doing during this time period. So this activity, the tasting during the wine's aging, is very important because we begin to understand how the wine is actually aging and how we're going to put it together later on when we blend. We're still about a year out from when we actually bottle, so we have plenty of time to do that. But it's very important to taste so you can start picturing in your mind how you're going to put it together. And also, you want to take advantage of the quality control aspect of this, and that's mainly what we're doing more, is quality control, but also in the back of our mind thinking what the wine is evolving into so that we know how we're going to blend it later on. So here we have a barrel from 2008, and I'll remove the bung slowly. And the first thing that I want to do is I want to, first of all, look into it and see that there's nothing forming on the top of the wine. And then the next thing I want to do is smell it, just to make sure that it smells fresh. And once I'm sure that it smells fresh, I'll take a little bit of wine out with this thief. And we'll give the thief a little bit of a rinse so that we don't pick up any of the characteristics of the residue that might be in the thief itself, in the wine. And also give the glass a little rinse. And I'll pour just enough in there to have a look at the color, to make sure that the color is still good. And then the first thing we do is smell it. So mainly I'm smelling it to make sure that it doesn't have any off characteristics, because each barrel is an independent unit for aging. So there could be that one barrel maybe got some kind of microorganism infection, and that wine might not be good anymore. So it's important to check every barrel, and also to be careful to not cross-contaminate, because if there's one barrel that's got something wrong, you could easily carry it into your other one just with the device that you're using to sample. So importantly is to have a look, smell, because your nose is a very good indicator of off characteristics for microorganisms, and then taste it. So it's a very clean taste, what I'm looking for at this stage. One of the other things that I'm looking for is, do I need to move the wine? Because one of the things that we're trying to do as well during barrel aging is to clarify the wine. When we put it to barrel originally, there's a little bit of material that gives the wine some haze, and during the course of aging, that material is falling to the bottom of the barrel. So one of the things I need to do is figure out if I'm ready to rack the wine, we call that, which means move it off its sediment and then put the wine back in, because I'm trying to clean off its sediment, or if I need to rack the wine because it doesn't smell like I'm expecting it to, even though there's nothing wrong with it microbiologically. Maybe it needs a little bit of air to spruce it up. So that's one of the main things that I'm looking for after the 6 months that it's been in here. I know that I'm getting pretty close to the time that I need to give it its initial racking. The wine is clean. It smells a little bit like it could use some air. So what I'm going to do is recommend that we go ahead and rack this wine. So we're going to go ahead and take care of the wine. The wine is maturing beautifully. We're going to do our work, and we look forward to checking in with you again on the next Cabernet Family Wines tasting.